Hey everyone. So today is October 12th, 2010, and I'm making this vlog today for the National Coming Out Day, which I know was yesterday, but I had so much work on my hands and I was a little sick too, so I didn't really get around to it, so I do apologize for that. So I'm doing it today. So I want to share with you my coming out story. I want to start right from the beginning, from where I found out that I liked guys, all the way to where I came to terms with the fact that I was gay, and what I did to come out, how I did it, and then how I, am coping with, what happened after the fact. So here goes. I first learned that I really liked guys probably around the age of 6. Now I know that sounds really young, but here's how I kind of discovered it. It's kind of an embarrassing story, but my favorite movie when I was a little kid was Top Gun. You know, the one with Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer, and the one where they're like flying the airplanes. And my favorite scenes in that movie were the volleyball scene, the volleyball scene, and the one with the locker room. Yeah, where they're like half naked. Now, I didn't know like why I liked them. I just knew I did. I just found them attractive, whatever. That's what I would always do. Is I was rewind and fast forward to those scenes specifically. I mean, I would always watch the whole movie, but like sometimes I would rewind it a couple times just to watch those parts. I mean, I didn't know why. I just did. Now, I did have a girlfriend. I've had a couple girlfriends. My first girlfriend was when I was about in first grade, and fuck, I don't even know who she is anymore. I don't remember her name. But I've dated a couple girls before. I've never had sex with a girl for obvious reasons. That's one of the contributing factors to the, how I discovered I was gay, was that I just wasn't ever sexually interested in girls. But we'll get to that. I started to really figure out that I was gay probably my freshman year of high school, and I figured it out just like everyone else did. I put two and two together, how I'd always like seeing guys, half naked or whatnot, and then when you're in junior high and high school, you start to look at porn, and obviously I looked at gay porn, but we're not going to talk about that. So I mean, I watched it and I liked it, so I mean, that really helped me figure out what gay meant and what it meant for me, which was I liked boys. Now, I really discovered that I was gay, though, my junior year of high school. What had happened was I had a friend, and he was one of my best friends back then. And honestly, I was going through a really depressive state. I was suicidal. I just had no positive outlook on life. And, he saved me. He reached out and really, truly, saved me from this depression and saved me from ultimately killing myself. And ultimately, I grew attached to him, and, that's when I really discovered what love was. And I discovered that I was in love with a boy. So that's how I really discovered that I was gay, because I truly had feelings for a boy. And I didn't know how to comprehend that. I talked to a counselor, I talked to so many people, and everything pointed to one answer. 1, I'm gay. Okay, 2 answers. 1, I'm gay. 2, I'm in love. Now, my friend that I was in love with, I had to tell him my feelings because I couldn't just hide it from him. And so that's when I started to come out. It was in between junior and senior year, and I finally told him how I felt about him. And obviously, those feelings weren't returned because he's straight. That's also one thing I had to cope with was, being gay and loving someone who can't love you back because they're straight. And straight crushes are hard. I mean, oh my god, straight crushes are horrible. But, I won't delve too much into that. So obviously the first person I ever came out to was my best friend. And we all know how that went. Now, what I did after it was just very simple. I started coming out to more and more people. I did it, the way someone would typically do it, was start coming out to friends, trusted people, teachers, whatnot. All my friends knew, and they were really fine with it. They were very supportive. Some of them were still kind of, iffy about it, but ultimately they supported me, and that's what really matters. Now, my parents. This is the kicker, is where, a gay person comes out to their parents, or at least their immediate family. The first person in my family I told was my father. What really shocked me was that he was 101% supportive of it. I mean, I couldn't begin to explain how shocked I was, because my father, he's like ex-military, very conservative, and this, all man kind of thing. And I would have thought he was the biggest homophobe on the planet, but no, he was so supportive of it, and I'm so thankful for him. I mean, that summer after I told him, he flew me out to Boston, and he took me to a place called Provincetown, which I don't know if many of you know about Provincetown, but it is a big, big gay town. Like, you know how like San Francisco has their gay district and Chicago has Boys Town and whatnot? Provincetown is one town. It's like its own place, and it's amazing. I loved it there. And so I'm really thankful that he's supportive of me that way. Now, my mom, she's a little bit different. I've told her multiple times, and I seriously think that she's kind of in denial about it, because, we'll be talking, and then she'll ask me about a girlfriend or something, and I have to keep reminding her, Mom, I'm gay. So I think she knows, but she doesn't want to know. At the same time, she wants to, just keep it a little bit repressed, and I'm not going to hold that against her. She still loves me, she still supports me, and she told me something the other day, actually, that, and I totally agree with this, is that, a person's sexuality is just this minute little thing about them that really isn't a defining factor. It's just one little facet of their personality that really isn't that big of a deal. I mean, yeah, there are people out there who really believe that, being gay or being straight is a really huge thing for them. And I mean, it is. But, ultimately, when you look at the big picture about your persona and who you really are, your sexuality is just this little thing that just makes a part of you. You're the same person you were yesterday, so why should it make a difference? Yes, it is good that you should tell your family and everything. But anyway, I digress. So my mom knows, my whole family knows, and they're pretty much okay with it. Like I said, my mom is probably still in denial, and she doesn't want to talk about it, and that's fine. I'm going to leave that with her. I'm not going to shove it in her face, and I shouldn't, because she has enough problems to deal with. Everyone supports me, and I'm really glad that everyone's fine with it. It's really funny because, when I went off to college, I was so excited that I was open and that I was out, and that every friend that I made, I wanted them to know straight away. And, some friends I didn't tell right away, but when it came time to, it was really funny because, this just shows how much it doesn't bother people, when you're an adult and you're in college. One of my friends that I told, he looked at me with just with the ultimate look of sincerity, and he's just like, John, you are so far out of the closet that you're decorating the living room with fucking doilies. And I was like, thanks. But inside I was just like, inside I was so happy that he didn't care, and that he was perfectly fine with it. But that just goes to show that your real friends still love you and still care about you, even if they do joke about it. And yeah, my friends, they do make fun of me and stuff, because out of my circle of friends, usually, I'm the token gay boy. And so, you kind of gotta poke fun at that, but it, honestly, I love it. So, anyway, to wrap this all up, I discovered I liked boys. at a young age, I had come to terms that I was gay. I had fallen in love with a friend, had experienced that unrequited love, had come out to friends and family, had experienced both positive and somewhat negative consequences, and am perfectly fine. Now, my advice to you to come out, when and if you're ready, and that's the first step to coming out, is you have to be ready. You have to know when is the right time, and there is no right or wrong time. There is no wrong time to come out. You can take as much time as you need. What I would recommend is try coming out when you're a little bit older, because if you come out at a younger age, people are going to think that it's just a phase, or you're trying to get attention, or some stupid thing like that. So if you're older and more or less likely, to be independent, people will take your word for it because you have developed some credibility and trust between people. So I would recommend coming out when you're a little bit older. And also, if you come out when you're a lot younger, especially when you're, still in your parents' custody, your parents may or may not, punish you by way of physical beating or grounding or taking things away from you, either privileges or material possessions. So it's probably not a good idea to come out when you're, still living with your parents. If you want to take that chance, you can. But I would say that you should do that. And personally, I did it while I was still with my parents because I'm only 19 and I still live with my mom. And luckily, she didn't do anything. But anyway, so come out to your friends first, then teachers, then other trusted adults, and then leave your family for last. Because if you come out to your friends and everything, then you have that little support network, and that is really something that you will need, because most likely there are a lot of you out there who probably won't have gotten off as lucky as I did. And I'm not trying to, sound conceited or anything, but I did get off lucky. So that is something that you really need to, keep in mind. And most of all, just, take your time. There is no rush. You don't need to rush things. And that is the worst thing you can do is, go jump in head first, because you might end up getting yourself into a lot of trouble, and it's going to be really bad. So take your time, plan it all out. Last but not least, just don't be afraid. Be courageous. It is really bad if you're going to go into it doubting yourself. So when you come out, be sure that you are ready and you are not afraid. I really do hope that this has helped you, and I hope that you have enjoyed my story, and I'm glad to share it with you. And as I sign off, I hope that every one of you has found love and peace, or will find love and peace in the future. And I hope that you all hang in there. And remember, it will get better. I love you all. Bye.